What is up, everyone? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we'll be reacting to another NASCAR video. This one is the craziest Daytona 500 finish deserves a closer look. One of you, well, I think a few of you have requested I react to this video, so we're going to get straight into it. But before we do that, make sure you subscribe. Over half of you that watch my videos still not subscribed. Just hit the bell, it takes 2 seconds, and if you'd like to become a member of my channel and receive exclusive perks, you can also do that by hitting the join button down below. Right, let's go.
It's going to be a drag race all the way back to the start-finish line. No caution.
Oh, what a mess.
Here they come, checkered flag.
It's February 18th, 2007 at the Daytona 500, and this looks like something out of a movie. Two guys racing to the checkered flag as the entire field behind them wrecks away into nothingness.
Yeah.
This is such a perfect drama-filled moment that if you actually did put this in a movie, it would immediately break my willing suspension of disbelief. It's just too unbelievable. Mark Martin in the U.S. Army sponsored number 01.
Okay.
It's a new seat for him, and as a matter of fact, this is his very first race with that team. After a long and storied career
Very
at
first
Roush
race
Racing
with that
spanning
team.
from 1988 to 2006,
And that's the way that you
included
finish.
35 wins.
Iconic.
Mark was almost ready to call it a career. He had actually announced his retirement in 2005, stating that he'd be done at the end of the season.
Wow.
Jack Roush needed some extra time to find a replacement driver, so Mark signed a 1-year extension. But the racing bug wasn't fully out of his system yet, and he sought to do what many other greats before him had done before bowing out, running a part-time schedule. It's not unheard of. David Pearson and Cale Yarborough had some of the best years of their careers running part-time schedules in their twilight years.
Wow.
However, Roush Racing is only interested in full-time competition, so Mark looked elsewhere and ended up with MB2 Motorsports. The man to his outside, though, has probably one of the most harrowing journeys to NASCAR's top division that anybody could ever lay claim to.
Okay.
His number 29 Richard Childress Racing Chevy was originally the number 3 driven by Dale Earnhardt Sr. But 6 years ago to the day, Dale lost his life in this very race in the final corner of the final lap. Harvick had come up from the Winston West regional circuit, where he won the championship in 1998, and that was enough to catch the eye of Richard Childress, who gave him a full-time Busch Series ride in 2000. Harvick's new Cup team has the exact same crew that backed Dale Sr. in Daytona, only the paint scheme and the number are different. This young guy from Bakersfield, California, has some massive shoes to fill. And there's an honest question as to whether or not he's ready for something like this, in this high-pressure scenario. But
This is what I'm
race of
saying.
the year at Atlanta Motor Speedway, Kevin Harvick won the race in just his 3rd start ever. And
Wow.
he didn't just win. He won in dramatic fashion, going wire-to-wire with Jeff Gordon to the line, in almost identical manner to how Dale Sr. won the exact same race just 1 year ago. For even the most grief-stricken Earnhardt fan, this was enough to help heal the wounds at the end of the Daytona 500 that year.
Oh no,
Harvick
stop.
from California was here to stay.
I'm gonna cry.
Fast forward to 2007, and he has 10 wins under his belt and is now poised to win the race that took Dale Sr. 20 years of frustration to accomplish. However, nobody at the Speedway today picked these two guys to be in this position with one to go. All throughout Speed Weeks, they were pretty much a non-factor. The two men everybody had their eye on going into today were Kurt Busch and Tony Stewart. That's pretty good, but when the green flag dropped for the start of the main event, Kurt goes on the offensive and takes the lead at lap 19. He'll go on to lead 95 laps, nearly half of the race.
I was going to say,
most
what
of
happened?
Any driver today, and
That
Tony
meant he
Stewart
didn't get
will lead
it.
35, the second most. So why aren't the two best cars at the track today up here battling for the win?
That's
or
what I'm
anywhere near the
asking.
front for that matter. Well, the race had been pretty uneventful for its first 3 quarters. Only 2 yellows for one-off accidents by Boris Said and Kyle Petty. But on lap 154, while leading the race, Tony Stewart wiggles just a bit in turn 3 as the car steps out from underneath him. So he lets off the throttle momentarily, but it's enough to have Kurt, who was running second, just ever so delicately tap him and send Tony around. The 20 car collects the 2, and now all of a sudden the 2 favorites are out for good. Tony and Kurt will finish
what a
43rd
shame.
and 41st respectively. Now inside the final 50 laps, drivers can feel the pressure mounting to get towards the front in the last quarter of the race, and it is marred by one big accident after another. The Great American Race has now become a war of attrition and
especially
a fight for
the 2
survival.
people you thought
After
were going
a massive
to
accident in turn 2, a new unlikely
win,
leader emerges after
and
the
they're
pit
out of the
stop.
race.
Mark Martin.
Game's on.
Mark Martin was never renowned as a super speedway ace. His only Daytona victory came in the 1999 Bud Shootout, and his only points-paying restrictor plate win came in 1997 at Talladega, where he ran the fastest race in NASCAR history, 500 miles in just a smidge over 2.5 hours. He's on the record having stated that he doesn't like the style of racing. Mark was actually the first guy to complete 500 miles here, but due to this rule, the official winner will actually have run 505 miles today, as 2 additional laps are needed to get things squared away. On lap 200, the green flag flies and Mark begins the race of his life. But where's Harvick in all of this? Well, that's him back there in 7th. He's got just 2 laps to move
How do you
from
make it to
there
the front then?
here. Even with pack racing and the draft, it's a tall order, but he manages to do it with a daring move to the outside and a good bit of help from Mark's former teammate, Matt Kenseth, who pushes the 29 to the front into turn 3 on the second to last lap.
Wow,
Harvick
okay.
has led just 2 laps today, and even those were due to pit stop cycles. He never ran up front for long, but as he weaves his way through the minefield of cars, one thing becomes apparent. He and Mark are obviously the 2 best cars left out there. Harvick and Mark go door to door. Kyle's in position to push Mark and give him a boost to retake his position, but the young phenom goes through one of turn 4's bumps while keeping his foot to the floor. The car steps out from underneath him and collects Kenseth to his outside and everybody behind them. As the world around them disappears, consumed in a torrent of fire, sparks, and smoke, 2 men race towards destiny. One seeks to validate 3 decades of struggle, tragedy, and triumph with this win. If he could never win a title, then maybe right here, right now, he can at least add his name to the list of Daytona 500 winners and be remembered that way. And the other driver, after having been called upon to drive one of the most iconic rides in motorsports after one of the greatest of all time died in this very race just 6 years ago today, can reassure everyone around him that he deserves this ride. He has a long career ahead of him, but he can fast-track his name into the NASCAR history books right now with a last lap pass. The 2 race each other cleanly. Neither one ever touches the other.
I don't know who got it, so...
They never try to slam into or dump the other, a testament to their skill and their respect for one another. Tonight, they will let the horsepower they have under the hood and the air around them determine the outcome of this race. The rest is, as they say, a moment in history. Enjoy.
It's going to be a drag race all the way back to the start-finish line. No caution.
Wow, wow, wow.
Right to the line. Big crash. Here they come. Checkered flag.
Cool. Wow.
Kevin Harvick wins the Daytona 500. We got one car.
Oh no.
Coming across the start-finish line.
They're wrecking
Oh, and there's fire.
Jeff Gordon's wrecked.
A few moments later.
Yeah, like I said, you've got to be happy with the race that you've just had, especially if, like, the 2 people that everyone thought was going to be at the front over that race then are out of the race, and you've managed to get all the way to the front. Fair play. So yeah, every time I see clips like that, I always get, like, chills all over my body. That was such a good video. So with that being said, if you have any other videos that you'd like me to react to, drop them in the comments. I'm working my way through everybody's suggestions at the moment. If you did want to check out any of my other socials, they are all linked down below. And if you wanted to become a member on this channel and receive exclusive perks, you can also do that by hitting the join button down below. But I hope you enjoyed today's reaction, and I will catch you next time for the next one. Bye!